Welcome. It's good to have you here. Let's just take the next few minutes to create a little space for a quiet, focused practice. Today, we're kicking off a journey into what we call applied self-awareness, and we're starting with a really simple but powerful tool, the energy tracker. Everything we do here, really, is built on this one idea. True sustainable leadership, it's not about fixing all your flaws. It actually begins with the honest, clear-eyed observation of the capacities you already have. This is our starting point. So, to get there, we first need to look at a kind of default setting in our own minds that can sometimes get in the way.
So, before we jump into the practice itself, we need to understand a little something about our own mental wiring. Think of it like a default setting that's always running in the background for every single one of us, and it creates this kind of quiet distortion in how we tend to see ourselves.
This slide really gives us the whole roadmap. Over on the left, you've got the negativity bias. This is our brain's natural, hardwired tendency to look for threats. Now, this is an evolutionary feature, it's not a personal flaw. But what it means for us today is that we instinctively notice what's wrong long before we ever see what's right. And on the right, well, that's the goal. Applied awareness. This isn't about ignoring reality, but about intentionally retraining our focus to see the whole picture. It's really a path from stress to vitality.
Let's just get really clear on what this is. The negativity bias. It was absolutely essential for survival out on the savannah, right? But today, in our world, it means that most of us can list our weaknesses in a heartbeat, but we kind of stumble when we're asked to name our strengths. It makes us experts in our own shortcomings, and that can keep our greatest capacities almost invisible, even to ourselves.
So here's the crucial point. This work is not about fixing something that's broken in you. It's much more of a deliberate, cognitive recalibration. We're simply choosing to train our attention to see the entire landscape of who we are, not just the little slice that our survival brain defaults to looking at.
And that brings us to the counter practice. Applied awareness, it's not wishful thinking, and it's definitely not just forced positivity. It's a disciplined observation. It's about looking for the factual, undeniable evidence of your own effectiveness as you just move through your day. It's about becoming a data collector for what's right with you.
So how do we actually begin this practice? Where do we start looking? Well, we need a clue, and the most immediate, most natural signal we have is our own energy. So we're going to start by just noticing what makes us feel most alive. You know that feeling of engagement, of being in the flow, that sense of vitality? That isn't random. It's a direct physical signal that one of your core strengths is active and being used. It's literally your body telling you that an authentic part of you is fully engaged in what you're doing.
So, why do we start here? Because your energy is your most honest indicator. It cuts right through the noise of self-criticism, and it points directly to the internal engines that fuel you instead of drain you. It helps you find those moments of flow, right? Where a task just feels easier. And that ease, that's not a sign that the task is trivial, it's the signature of a core strength doing the heavy lifting for you.
Okay, so this brings us right to our practice for today. It is super simple, it's focused, and it's designed to take just a few minutes of quiet reflection. We are going to become energy trackers. The goal for day one is incredibly clear. We're not trying to analyze our entire life here. We are just looking for one single moment of peak vitality from today, and then we're going to try to name the specific strength that was driving it. So, here's the prompt. And I invite you to take a moment right now, if you can. Just scan back through your day. Was there a conversation, a task, maybe a quiet moment of problem solving where you felt that little spark of engagement? What was going on? And what internal capacity were you using in that moment?
Now, having that fleeting insight is one thing, but turning it into a concrete, usable piece of data, that's something else. And to do that, we need a simple tool to capture what we find.
And this is that tool, the daily strength sentence. It's got a really simple, repeatable structure. You just name the specific action, you identify the strength you used, and you state the positive result. So, for example, I stayed calm during a difficult conversation, using my patience to help keep the dialogue constructive. See how specific and factual that is?
The power of this little sentence is that it forces you to be clear. It moves you from a vague feeling, like, oh, I had a good meeting, into a solid piece of evidence about your character and action. It builds a bridge between what you do and who you are.
Of course, sometimes finding just the right word for your strength can be tricky, and that is exactly what the Strengths Vault is for. It's a resource you can explore right here in the community, basically a reference list of 48 different traits to help give you the precise language you need. Because really, you can't intentionally use what you can't name. Naming a strength makes it visible, And when it's visible, it becomes repeatable.
All right, let's just zoom out for a second and connect this simple daily practice to the bigger journey of presence-driven leadership that you're on.
Please don't underestimate the power of this one little sentence. Today, yeah, it's just a single data point, but over time, these sentences start to stack up. They begin to form an undeniable, evidence-based portrait of your character and your natural way of being effective.
This slide shows us exactly where today's practice fits into the bigger picture. This energy tracker, this is step 1. It's the foundational stage of awareness. It's the simple act of recognizing what's right with you, which then opens the door to alignment, and from there to developing internal authority and eventually to authentic influence.
This really just summarizes the whole journey, doesn't it? It's a progression, and it starts with that simple, honest observation, the work we're doing right now, today, and it builds from there, step by step, into a deeply integrated way of leading and living. So, I'll leave you with this gentle challenge. After you complete your one sentence for today, just sit with this question for a moment. What would begin to shift for you, in your work, in your life, if you truly started to trust the evidence of what you already do well? Thank you for your practice.